Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome to, well, I suppose another episode of Mingles.business. Oh, Akazuki's making her presence known early this time. I think she's going for a water bowl. Yeah. So, I'm home, I'm cancer free, surgery was a success, the surgeon was an absolute rock star, and it's been a week now since the surgery, actually slightly more than a week. My apologies, I get out of breath very easily. I have had major surgery after all. But there could have been all kinds of things that went wrong with the surgery. The most obvious thing would have been waking up with a stoma bag attached to my stomach, which would have indicated that, because what he had to do was he had to go in, cut a section of bowel here and here, take it out, stitch the open ends together, and then they would basically test it for leaks. And if there were any leaks, if they hadn't been stitched back together absolutely 100%, then they would have had to put a bypass in, and basically I would have been shitting into a bag for the next 12 weeks. As it happens, the surgery was 100% successful. I woke up without a bag attached, and 100% cancer free, although in a considerable amount of pain, because I had just been stabbed in the stomach twice. Although it was keyhole surgery, so I was home within 4 days rather than, a week, because that was another complication. It could have been open surgery. If they hadn't been able to get it done through the keyhole method, then they would have had to basically just cut the whole stomach open and get both hands in there. But again, the surgeon, damn, he was good. Everything went flawlessly. They kept referring to the surgeon as Mr. Conti, because his name was Mr. Conti, but I was like, don't they have doctors to do this sort of thing? I'd prefer to have a doctor do it, thank you. It turns out that surgeons are special. They refer to themselves as Mr. At least the male ones do. I don't know what the female ones refer to themselves as, but they don't call themselves Dr. Conti. They're known as Mr. Conti, or whatever the name is. They're like the fighter pilots of the doctor world. But yeah, this guy, he earned he was really, really good, as were the entire staff at the QA hospital up in Cosham. Every single one of the nurses was just amazing. A particular shout out, by the way, even though I'm 100% sure she's not watching this, to the Royal Air Force corporal on the day shift, nurse called Jade, who had the task of looking after me during the day. She was incredible, and she had to do some of the nastiest things. Yeah, it only hurts when I laugh, or cough, or sneeze. So when I woke up, God, the first night was torture. I remember I kept thinking, surely it's the next morning by now, it's got to be 8 o'clock already, and then I'd look at my phone and it's only 2 in the morning. I'm like, And of course you can't sleep when you're in hospital, even though you badly, badly want to, because one, you're in a lot of pain. And then when you do finally drift off to sleep, somebody's waking you up to take your blood pressure and your temperature. But it is what it is. The first night was horrible. The first day, the day after, was not much fun. But they put me on this self-injector thing, cannula in my hand, and I was able to, if I was in pain, I would just press this thing and get a shot of not quite morphine, which I could do once every 5 minutes. And that really helped. By the third day, it was still stiff and painful, and sitting up and getting out of bed was not fun, but I wouldn't have been able to do it the day before. And I had all these tubes and pipes coming out. So I had the last thing to come out was a drain from my bowel, which was right here. And then I had another pipe coming out of my belly button. I had a surgery scar up here, surgery scar here, and then I had this pipe coming out of my ass, which was draining, my ass. Now, I didn't realise that this pipe coming out of my ass was actually sewn in to my ass cheeks. So for the first 2 days, I was only on liquids, stuff like coffee, water. That was it, nothing else. On day 3, excuse me, I need this. This is actually my breakfast. On day 3, I moved to what they call low residue foods. So things like jelly, what Americans call Jello, yogurts, stuff like that. Stuff that's easy to digest, because it's important that my gut has as little work to do as possible to give it the best chance to heal itself. But this, of course, is going to start triggering bowel movements. And here's the bizarre thing, because there are no nerves in your gut. Right? You can't actually feel anything happening in your intestines. But everything around your intestines can feel things happening in your intestines, because that's where the nerves are. So even though I couldn't feel anything working my way through my gut, I could hear it. So, and it was just like a pot of yogurt. And within 5 minutes of eating this stuff, I could hear the gut reinflating as this yogurt, and I could track its movement by the sound it was making. It was moving its way around my gut. And it got down and down, and it got lower and lower. And I thought, I need to go to the bathroom, because you can't trust a fart when you've had bowel surgery. If it feels like a fart, it might not be. Don't take the risk. So I had to somehow get myself out of the bed and then to the bathroom, and I got there just in time, and there was a chocolate explosion down in my nether regions, and just as I managed to get my ass up of the toilet seat in time. And it explosively expelled the tube that was hanging out my ass, except not entirely. The tube came out. I painted the toilet bowl brown, but the tube was still attached. And of course I couldn't see what was going on. So I just assumed, it's in my ass. I can't get down there to see what's going on. So I just assumed that it had been taped in place just to ensure that it didn't, pressure didn't force it out or anything. And some of the tape had managed to get stuck to the hairs of my ass. And I tried to rip this thing out, not realising it was actually stitched in. Don't do that. Oh God, very, very painful. So Jade, the RAF nurse, poor thing, I hobbled back into the ward, and I'm bent over on the bed with my hospital gown up around my waist, and she's this poor girl that's sitting there with a pair of scissors, cutting the stitches out one by one out of my asshole, right after I'd just been for the noisiest shit in the world. But she couldn't pay me enough to do their job. But she and all the rest of the nursing staff at the hospital were absolutely fantastic. But anyway, by day 4 I was back on solid food, and the resident came around for rounds and said, "So how are you feeling?" I said, "I'm actually pretty good." I was off the pain meds, and the improvement every day was noticeable. He said, "Right, okay, well, whip that bowel drain out and send you home today." This was on the Sunday. Went in for surgery 7 o'clock Thursday morning, and I was home Sunday afternoon. And then that's when Rita stepped up and went above and beyond the call of duty. I mean, she's been a nurse, she's been a cook, she's been a cleaner, she's been a hotel maid for me. She's done everything other than lie on my back and sleep for me, looking after me and changing my dressings as well. Oh God, yeah, because I don't want to lift the shirt up and show you, because that probably wouldn't be safe for YouTube. But most of the tubing and stuff had been disconnected, except for the bowel drain, this one down here, which they took out on Sunday afternoon. And when they pulled the tube out, it squirted blood everywhere. So the dressings all went on. By midnight on Sunday, I looked down and realised that my leg was drenched, where the dressing had saturated. And I'd just been bleeding. I hadn't even realised. And we took the dressing off, and it's possible that I may have been released just a little too early. Maybe another day, so give that a chance. I very nearly called an ambulance there and then, but we got it under control. And it mostly wasn't blood, it was mostly plasma. But that's the only real thing that's been an issue. I've been to the GP's practice to see the practice nurse to get the dressings checked, which is something the hospital told me I had to do within a couple of days of getting released anyway. And apparently it's fine. But this one, and it is getting, again, I need to stress everything's getting better every day. And the most important thing, of course, is I'm 100% cancer free. So this, I can put up with this. And like a couple of days ago, I couldn't cough, sneeze, or laugh without being in a lot of pain. And now, you know, it's all good. The day after coming out of hospital, I came up to make myself some breakfast, which was just, you know, coffee and some fruit and yogurt. And just doing that, I had to sit down halfway through because it tired me out too much. So I'm getting like, but now, you know, it's, I mean, I still tire easily, but I get a lot of exercise every day, coming up upstairs and downstairs in order to, you know, make food and drinks and stuff. It's like a lot of exercise, but it's important because I have to make sure that my gut is doing as little work as possible. So I have to restrict the stuff that I'm eating, which isn't that bad because it just means cutting down on high fiber foods. So no nuts, no seeds, bread, no, but fat, cheese, eggs, most meat, absolutely fine. Fish in particular, great. So I cooked some pan fried salmon the other night, and last night I cooked a chili for the first time. I just eased off on the spices a little. So it's all good. It's all good. And like I said, the most important thing is I am now 100% cancer free. They've given me technically 2 weeks off. And normally, I mean, you all know what I'm like. I get bored. I spend more than a day not doing anything. I say, right, I'm going to take 2 weeks holiday. And then within 3 days, there's a video up. That hasn't been the case this time because I have been really tired. The pain's been getting better and better every day, or less and less every day. But I am getting my strength back, but I do get tired very, very easily because I've just had major surgery. So, yeah. I figured I'd post this Mingles with Jingles as an update, just to let you all know where I stand, and what to expect going forward. Oh, I hate that expression, going forward. It's not like we can go back, can we? Where else are we supposed to go? But yeah. So, yeah, normal service will be resumed probably within a week. We'll see how things go. At the moment, I really don't feel up to it. I really do need to relax and rest, at least for another couple of days. But I'm already feeling a bit restless, and I'm going to want to start to get some work done soon. So thanks to everybody for sticking with me. Massive thanks to Dr. Conti at the QA and all of the nursing staff up there for taking such amazingly good care of me. Big thank you to Rita for taking such good care of me and changing my dressings and doing all my laundry and everything and just looking after me once I got home. And thank you to everybody for continuing to watch and subscribe to the channel. And hopefully, within a couple of days, I'll see you again.